Hello. All
Hey,
right. Craig is recording now. Sorry to break up that conversation. What was
that's
hilarious
all
though.
right.
It's
No, I
all good.
like that. Cold open. It's great.
Uh, I've been wanting to do like a couple of test runs where we just talk and I just record at random, like in secret.
I, what? So to not completely confuse the listeners, we were just talking about an image that was posted to the DC Universe subreddit, and it was a little Easter egg, potentially referencing Batman. But anyway, that's neither here nor there. Welcome everybody.
All right. Yes. Let us get started officially now. Welcome to Geeking This number 10. Actually, yay, number 10, double digits now. 1-0.
Double digits.
I am Peter, joined with me with my good friend and geek brother-in-law Tony. Also, a fellow geek and friend who is joining us, actually cousin to Tony, is Edgar, also known as Zonic. Me and Edgar do another podcast that we need to get back to called Out of Combo. So we got to do that one too.
Hey, how's it going? Thank you for having me. And yeah, definitely we gotta get an episode number 2 going.
Number two. Number two, and then a 10. That's pretty good. Um, anyways, so in this podcast, we are going to be talking about, right, in this podcast, we're going to be talking about Joker. Of course, the Joaquin Phoenix Joker movie that has come out, directed by, shoot, I already forgot what the director is.
Phillips.
Phillips.
Todd Phillips. There you go. Thank you, guys. And produced by Martin Scorsese, who said some interesting things about Marvel movies that we talked about during our last podcast. So that was, yeah, he said they are not Oscar worthy and art. Where someone had Robert Downey Jr. on, and he responded to it, but I didn't get a glimpse of what his response was. But I'm sure he had something funny to say about it.
I believe
Yeah.
what I read, like maybe in some articles I didn't really click on them, but maybe just be clickbait or whatever. Like he appreciates the comment and he wishes him well or something like one of those lines.
Oh,
You
okay,
know, like
okay.
being really
Yeah,
sarcastic. So I
I
do not
think
know the
that's
only.
I think that's what's going on because also James Gunn said something similar. He was like, just Scorsese is Scorsese. But what's interesting is to us in the gaming world, it's kind of like when what's his name? The Death Stranding creator.
Hideo
Yeah, Hideo Kojima has famously said, I think after his breakthrough Metal Gear series, that video games are not art. And like his games are like the most cinematic and artful, so it's like really ridiculous.
Yeah, I don't really understand that. Like, that's one thing that keeps him moving. Like right now, he has the fandom behind him just because that's trending, and nobody, unless you guys know what the fuck that game is about, is still. I'm on the 100% on the shadows on that one, and I pre-ordered it, and I'm gonna get it in 3 weeks. So wish me luck. I don't know what the fuck I'm gonna get
Yeah.
myself into.
All right, I might have to be talking to you. I don't know if I'm gonna get it at all. I'll talk to you about it though. But yeah, it's kind of like that. Scorsese is saying that, but specifically about Marvel comics, which is weird. So going off of the Joker, I wanted to get your guys' first impressions of it. We'll start with you, Sir Tony.
I'm sorry, who was starting first?
You are.
Oh, excellent. All right. So, Joker movie, solo, no Batman, kind of.
Kind
so,
of.
yeah. First impressions. All right. So, I love the movie. All right. So let's just get that out there. I think you have to from my perspective, you kind of have to walk in with a clean slate and not really have any expectations, even though that's hard to do with a character like the Joker. I mean, of course, you're going to want to have high expectations, but the reason why I say that is because it's not your traditional comic book movie. It just isn't. It's definitely an art house film, in my opinion, that's character motivated, which is completely different than the big blockbusters we're accustomed to seeing, especially in the MCU. So it's a little different, but that's really refreshing. And there are some folks, and we can get into the details in a little bit later in the segment, where some folks say, it's a slow burn, too much of a slow burn. It just
Slow burn.
takes way too long to get to the climatic act, and there is no action really.
Wait, there's people you're saying that say this?
Oh, the majority of people, I feel like, not the majority of comic book fans, right? Not the Avengers loving MCU popcorn crunching moviegoers, not those guys, but like other
Everyone
people,
else.
everyone else. If you don't like the lore, if you're not a nerd already, maybe this movie's not for you. Because
But
I've heard certain. Well, I mean, to cap it off, like I've heard like other podcasts, like the Slate spoiler podcast, where they're just talking mad crap about the movie and saying how it's not as
wow,
intelligent as it
really?
thinks it is.
Wow,
Yeah,
really?
yeah. So I don't know what to take away from that because I loved it and I understand what it's trying to accomplish. It's trying to set itself apart. I mean, when you just had a Suicide Squad movie a couple years ago, it would be dumb to kind of rehash that with a different actor, you know? So
Right.
I think it's smart that they are taking it in a different direction. First impressions, loved it. And the one thing I need to say is my number one concern prior to going to the movie was, well, I love the idea of a Joker origin story, but it kind of breaks all the rules because we're not really supposed to know the origin of the Joker.
Yeah.
So I thought that part was going to be lame, but boy, did they really flip the script on me, where it's like, oh, you think this is all like his life and this is his mom, et cetera, and then they kind of just like throw the cliffhanger, well, not cliffhanger, they throw the curveball at you where they say, maybe not so fast. Maybe he really is an unknown character. He does have an unknown past. He's an abandoned child after all. So that was awesome because we could still
Yeah.
maintain that, like, who really is he? Who really did come from? So they fixed my problem, my biggest problem, by doing that.
Nice.
So there's my first impressions.
That's pretty good. To tack on to that, when we're talking about slow burns, I'm glad you say because comic book fans would enjoy this movie. I think they definitely will. If you're a comic book fan, you definitely will enjoy this movie. But you gotta think back to like if you ever watch the old MCU movies, especially like the first Iron Man, that's a slow burn too. It took them a while to actually put the suit on and everything.
I guess some people are just so used to like explosions and
Action
big.
right away. But then, like on the contrast to that, good sir, we take a movie like Justice League where it's like action in your face, and
Yeah.
that was like I was like, this sucks. I don't know. It was just too much.
Well, that's why I said that. Like, I think it's intelligent that they did this different route because Suicide Squad was basically as much action as you could get, but it meant nothing.
Nice. All right. So I'll dub this pre-conversation here as spoiler-free. So after this sort of roundtable, you can get off this podcast. Well, hopefully stay on and listen, but the rest will be spoilerific. Just to tack on, I'm going to get to Edgar, but I want to tack on a question. For you guys' first impressions. So in my showtime, I actually saw it. The person told us when we bought the tickets that it was going to be on film, and my Joker experience came included with a police officer. How about you guys?
Up here where I live, it's a really small town, so like people were really on their tiptoes because right now like how the media was like, careful when you go and see this movie. Hopefully nothing happens at this point.
Yeah.
We're just like, might as well just do it ourselves. Fuck it. So when I went in to buy my tickets, I was able to spot like a couple like undercover cops at the entrance of the movie theater, and inside of the theater
Nice.
there was like one on the exit, and the guy who sold us the ticket was like, "You guys don't get scared. It's just precautions, just to make sure nothing happens." And I'm like, I was here just to enjoy myself, try to watch a movie, but at the same time, I got a cop looking at me and like, what is he gonna do?
You know
What
what?
the
I
hell?
would prefer to undercover. Mine was straight up in uniform and straight up like would walk in at different parts of the movie and like stayed by the entrance. That was really more awkward. I would have enjoyed an undercover more.
Yeah,
That's really weird that you guys had those experiences. Mine was completely lacking in security. Literally,
Really?
they didn't even have the ticket guy who like looks at your tickets. Not even that guy was there. Like I literally just walked in. I didn't even have to buy a ticket if I didn't
that's
want
what
to.
you think.
Yeah, maybe you
But
had it undercover too.
it was completely empty though. Like there was like maybe a handful of people in the cinema. It was
That's
Oh, that's
interesting.
bizarre. Yeah.
Another thing. So, did you guys see it in film too, or was it digital?
Uh,
digital.
I probably digital. I really don't know.
Oh wow! So I actually saw it in film, which was pretty nice. And at this theater, I didn't think it would be in film, because it's a sort of new. Well, it's at Grossmont, so it wasn't really that new of a theater. But they have all new screens. But I guess in some of them they were showing it in film, which is what I don't know the director wanted more or less. And that
Hmm.
was really interesting to see in film. It was really really old school. It reminded me a lot of like Scorsese's old stuff, like Taxi Driver.
Damn,
Well, yeah.
that's pretty
I,
cool.
did it feel more gritty? Well, I mean, how would you know?
No, yeah, no. Actually, you can tell there's a stark difference. If you ever, watch an old TV screen that's not HD, and you like, it kind of messes with your eyes. Same thing with this, except you could see the stuttering, and we actually usually we sit in the back, because I like to sit in the back, see the whole screen, and you can hear the projector going like ticking away. So I got that in the background. I mean, it was loud during quiet parts, but like you couldn't hear it most of the time, and you forgot it was there. But it was just really like an interesting experience.
That's really rad.
That's pretty cool. You don't get to see that often.
Yeah, I thought that was happening like everywhere. I was like, oh, I was expecting to see it in digital. But anyways, continuing on with your first impressions, Mr. Edgar.
I'm just gonna add on to what Tony was saying because he pretty much nailed it. Before when I knew the movie was coming out, I was a little bit on the fence, just knowing how they're gonna treat the Joker, because I had a really, really bad time watching Suicide Squad. And actually, fun fact, I walked out of that movie because I wasn't able to finish it. It was not happening.
Oh, fun.
So I was kind of worried. So how are they gonna do it? But I know Joaquin Phoenix. And the first movie that I actually got to see from him was Walk the Line, and then Gladiator. I realized he was great too.
Yes,
So
great actor.
actually, Tony took me to see her, and I had faith. Like Todd Phillips did, Hangover and Project
Yes,
X and all those
yes.
kind of movies. So I was like, maybe he's gonna be able to do it because he's stepping out of his comfort zone. So everybody's taking risks, so might as well just take a big risk. So they did it, and first impressions, it was great. The pacing of the movie for me was great, because it begins kind of slowish, but you need to understand what is happening, with the environment, what is going on at the time. So because there's a lot of factors they're going to take into this guy's mental health issues and what is going to make him do, and how is he going to react to the world and the environment that it's in. So I understand when people might say it's a slow burn, but it has to burn so you can actually understand it. Because if you just rush it and you go guns blazing, and this guy just puts on the makeup within 30 minutes of the movie, you're like, well, okay, I get it, he's crazy, but what else? Like, are you just gonna make him kill a bunch of people for the rest of an hour and a half? Like, now you gotta give him some time to cook. But pretty sure everybody, at least everybody that I know who got to see the movie, everybody liked it. I don't really have a lot of issues, but I just keep getting this movie bombed by, billboards and ratings, and I stopped actually looking to ratings from maybe sometimes AMDB, but Rotten Tomatoes. I don't have any more faith anymore because I don't know if you guys have seen a movie called Alita: Battle Angel.
Yeah,
No.
that got mixed reviews, didn't it?
Yeah, I really wanted to see that movie, but by the time I looked it up because I didn't have a lot of free time, so I was like looked at the reviews and they were like bad, and I'm like, damn, that sucks. So I didn't go out of my way and see it. So I ended up buying the Blu-ray, and it's one of my favorite movies. Actually, I had to actually
Oh,
get the
nice.
manga right after it. So I was like, you know what? I'm just gonna go start going seeing movies because I really want to see him. This one did not disappoint.
Well, yeah, that's the thing, and I think that's the thing we were talking about earlier. Is most most viewers and most freaking reviewers are not comic book fans, they're not manga fans, they're not anime fans when they're reviewing something. So,
Hmm.
and we are, so we're gonna enjoy the shit out of it, but those reviewers aren't. Like now,
Yeah.
I don't even really look at reviews. I just sort of I look at reviews after the fact, after I've watched it, to see
Yeah.
like what I think of matches up, and like sometimes I just wait for like some news to break, so somebody might tweet something. I think Kevin Smith tweeted that the Joker got like a standing O at a film festival, so I was like, oh okay.
Yeah, it deserves it. At least for myself, it deserves it. Like I like it, but I'm obviously I'm gonna be open and for criticisms for anything that I love, and like anime comes to anime, manga, cartoons, movies. So there's a little bit maybe something that I didn't pick up myself, and somebody else did. So might as well I will be willing to listen to it, and maybe I might agree, I might not, but I'm still gonna like the thing, whatever happens.
Yes, I agree.
What
So
about you, Peter? Initial
yeah,
impressions?
I think we all came away with it liking it. It is an origin story. I think that's just a sort of overall sum up of what we're thinking here. It is an origin story, so you're not going to get to Joker right away, of course. So if you're thinking you're going to see Joker in the first couple of frames, you're ridiculous. um, yeah, so just sit tight, enjoy it as like just a normal movie. Just forget it; it's a comic book movie altogether. I would say, with sort of no expectations, as Mr. Tony was saying, and then you get to that comic book stuff, and it's freaking fantastic.
Yeah, I agree with everything you guys said. Now, what do you think that there's anything that you would change from both of your perspectives? Any cons? Like if you had to key in on the negative stuff, if you have any.
Um, I'll go first with this one.
Yeah, because I gotta
It's
think
not
about it.
really.
Because, like I said, it's
It,
hard for me to find something bad, but I might be able to find it if I
yeah,
look hard enough.
yeah, totally. It's not really like bad things for me either. It's things that I feel like are missing out, and this is probably the comic book fan in me. Okay, so here comes spoilerific stuff. All right, so for the comic book fan in me, what I saw, I loved it all the way through. What I felt was missing was I think they should have left um, the relationship between him and Bruce Wayne and Thomas Wayne. I think they should have left that a little ambiguous, or at least ambiguous to Arthur Fleck, and they could have showed the audience the truth. But I think they should have left that kind of ambiguous because that would have been really cool if we get to like sequel theories or further theories down the line that he like still thinks he's Bruce Wayne's brother, which would be freaking ridiculous. Another thing that I felt was missing, I had problems with the Murray show. The only problems I had with the Murray show is that, I mean, I guess it was pretty hardcore how he dealt with that whole situation. But I would have loved like a Joker gas instead. I would love a Joker gas that wiped out the whole audience, and that would just brought me a lot of joy. I probably shouldn't say that. No cops are listening, goddammit. Anyways, um, so yeah, I thought just more comic booky connections like that. And then his persona, when he fully takes on the Joker personality in the Murray show, um, he was fine and everything. I just thought the voice was a little weird when he was talking to Murray. Like he was definitely playing it up and trying something, which is cool. But like I don't know, that didn't sell it for me. I think he should just stick with his normal Arthur Fleck voice.
So, if I could step in real quick, I want to peel apart a little bit more about the Bruce Wayne brother potential issue you had with it, and then the Murray show. Because I actually, if I had to give cons, I would key in on the Murray show, but for a different reason. Let me back up into the whole. You feel that it would have been cool if only the audience knew the true origin.
Yeah, if they just played around it with it a little bit.
I kind of want to say something, which is, so I don't know about you two, but I was entirely convinced that Arthur actually had a girlfriend in a real life relationship. And then when they did that reveal, I was like, whoa. So I say that for a reason, because how are we to expect that Arthur is a accurate narrator? How can
Yes, is a reliable narrator.
And so what I mean by that, to dig a little further, is okay. So he saw a couple of papers that showed he was adopted. So what? You're dealing with what is essentially Bill Gates in the Gotham universe. He can doctor up as many documents as he wants. So especially if it's going to be a liability for him. So there is a strong possibility, in my opinion, that
Damn.
that was all a gag.
Nice.
I think
Brought on
we
by
don't.
Thomas Wayne to cover up his ass.
Yeah, because he's a rich old guy
Cool.
who
Great
just
theory.
wants to make sure that he's covered. So of course he's gonna do this, especially when, by the way, the day before he had just assaulted his kid essentially. So he's gonna want to protect his family and maybe just say, "Hey, just make these fake papers."
Yeah, I love how Thomas Wayne is portrayed in this. It's like it's really awesome to see if what if he wasn't such a fucking good guy, and he probably wasn't. I don't know. But I like how in other portrayals of Batman's origins that he's always like portrayed as Thomas Wayne is like glorified. And I like to see that as like that's Bruce's point of view. So if you're watching like Batman Begins, that's Bruce's point of view of his father when he's a kid. Like maybe, sure, yeah, he built that subway line, but like, what else did he do for the city?
Yeah, I'm just saying that, like, I'm not convinced that he is not the half brother of Bruce Wayne. I'm not convinced just because
That's
we saw a
awesome.
couple papers.
Just
Now,
to tack on to that really fast, I've heard further theories that so maybe that's a fabrication on Thomas Wayne's end, but maybe Arthur Fleck is not even showing us the reality in his point of view. Maybe like there's fan theory out there that this whole movie is even just an imagination of Arthur Fleck in like an insane asylum.
yeah, I'm not buying that one. I've heard that one before, but I think it would be too much of a cop out. I think it'd
Yeah, I agree.
It'll be pushing it a little bit too far, at least for my taste. Because I know when the movie starts, he just maybe he just didn't get out of the asylum, but we know for a fact that he was there locked up for a while.
Right. And like going with how Joker is portrayed in the comic books, he does let Batman know some truths, like when he kidnaps in the Killing Joke, when he kidnaps Gordon and all that whole mess, he like basically tells Batman where they are.
That's true. Well,
So,
I mean,
like Joker is like to me is like 20% truth and like 80% lies. So I think that you can apply that to the movie as well.
I agree. So going back to the Murray show, I actually agree 100% with what you said. What a brilliant idea you had, by the way, Joker guys. I didn't even think about that. That's phenomenal.
Yeah,
I wish
that would have been hardcore, but they didn't mention it before. And yeah, that would have been like a crazy thing to put in. But you know.
But I guess my biggest problem with the Murray show, part 2, when he's actually being interviewed, was it felt a tad long. It would have been interesting to see if we could shortcut some of that narration and just kind of almost like give you the like, you know what's funny? This is funny, and then it just shoots him, and then that's pretty much it. Like I don't know why he had to give like this whole like, because he said he's apolitical, but it sounded very political. You know,
right?
It kind of like contradicted himself a little bit.
Yeah, so yeah, I agree. That did kind of sound like Joker was pouting a little bit, and I don't want that from my Joker. I just want him to come in, especially when he's full-fledged Joker at that point. I just want him to come in and wreck shit, which he basically does.
I want to ask you guys something. You just said something important. When he's full-fledged Joker, do you guys agree that at that moment during the Murray show, he is 100% what we would think of as the Joker?
Yeah. Oh.
I disagree.
Yeah,
I
I
I
really don't agree because I was just gonna
speak
give
it.
him a quick point of view. Is when he's looking into his joke book and he's reading the stuff to look for the joke, and he because before that he already had a plan to say the knock knock joke and just blow his brains out. So the joke that we read at the beginning, I hope my life has more meaning than my death. He reads that, and at that point something clicks on him, but it doesn't click on fully. That's why he doesn't
Oh,
have
interesting.
the weight of the Joker and how he talks, how he manipulates people. He just realized something that he didn't know, that his life has more meaning to that. He doesn't know how he's going to take it there. He doesn't know how he's going to approach it, but he
Interesting.
clicks on it. So he taps on it, but he's not full on there yet. He hasn't done mass killings. He hasn't done cruel, gnarly shit to people. He just has killed at that point. Okay, 3, 4 people. About to kill the fifth one. So he's getting there, but he's not full on flesh Joker. He just realized he is not normal, and it's okay to not be normal, and it's okay to be mad. So he
Right.
just realized that at that point, and we get a glimpse to how can he more crazy how he can be later on, but I don't think he's full on flesh Joker there. I believe he's Joker,
Nice.
but not full on flesh Joker.
So I would say that completely different from both of your perspectives, which is I don't think he becomes the full-fledged Joker until the last couple scenes where he's on top of the police car at the end of the movie. That's when I think he truly becomes and embraces the Joker persona.
Yeah.
The
Yeah.
reason, not just because he literally has the blood on his lips and he kind of makes a smile,
Oh my God.
which,
Yes.
by the way, that was amazing. But not just because of that, but because he has a following and he is able to understand he's created a movement and embrace that movement. Because prior, he kind of was down in the dumps in the police car and he did create this crime, but he was, if you think about it, he was kind of willing to accept his consequences. Like, well, I guess I'm off to jail now. But the fact that somebody was able to get him out of that car and because they look up to him and then he realizes holy moly, like I've created a movement here, like I think that's when he's like I can think bigger, like I don't have to just take the law and be a subject to the consequences of the law. I can just do whatever the fuck I want. And so
Damn.
that's why I think that's when he realizes holy, what I just said, and I think that's when he becomes the Joker.
I agree. So I guess what I was thinking, or I wanted to see him full fledged already on the Murray show, and that's why I wanted the Joker gas and everything. But yeah, my main gripe was sort of his voice, and I know as an actor, it's kind of hard to fill this sort of persona and these roles. But like when he was talking to Murray, it was like, "Oh, Murray." I can't even do it justice, but I was even kind of like that. It was just a weird sort of style choice. I think he should have just did more straight laced Arthur then. But yeah, I agree with you. I think he definitely is the Joker at the end. And just those end, like, that last half of the movie, oh my God, it was probably like the best. Especially starting with, let's see, where does it? Oh, starting with that big reveal of him maybe not imagining that girlfriend, which is ridiculous. And then just continuing on from there, the whole Bruce Wayne thing. And yeah, it was just really awesome. That fucking chase, everything leading up to the Murray show, oh man, it's just ridiculously fun.
But I got a quick question for you, Peter. So, because you keep on talking about the gas thing, that will be great. But you're pulling it off from
Batman Returns,
Batman
not Returns,
Goes to
but
the
the Dark
Dark
Knight
Show,
Returns. Yeah, I totally am.
Returns. So, because I know they actually grab a little bit from that. Because when he walks in and gives a kiss to the lady who was
Oh
actually
yeah, he
being
does
there in
kiss
there.
someone in that comic too.
Yeah. So in the comics, he actually does the same thing to a lady. He comes in and he gives it a weird, awkward kiss for a little bit too long. So when I saw that in the actual movie, I was like, "Wait, is that from that actual Batman?"
Yeah, right. I was like,
I was
oh, they're
like,
just
"Wait."
going full blown comic book right now.
I was like, "Okay, that's cool." Like that's what I like. That's one of the things that I'm really defending about this movie. Like, I feel you guys know that I love comic books. I love manga. I love source material. I love when source material is respected, but when you can
Yes.
play around it and not let it chain you to being artistic and being having the freedom that you need, and just play it good and do a really good job, I'm all in for it. So that's maybe because I didn't have that so many um negative thoughts about this movie, because I wanted it to, like, okay, let's see what you guys can do if you don't bring Batman into the equation, like, because every single time that you think about Joker, you think about Batman. So when I realized that Batman might not even be there, I was like, okay, let's see what you guys do. I want to see, and for me, they did a great job.
Yes, I agree. I have a question for you guys. So I love at the end, so Joker getting full blown Joker, as Tony saying, on top of the squad car and being saved by the people, and the people also caught taken out on Thomas and Martha Wayne there as well in a Joker mask, which is freaking fantastic. Another thing I was thinking about, so I love that he has a following, but I something about like the comic book version of him. I don't remember him having really a following other than like the people who like idolized him, of course, but like most of Gotham feared him. Do you guys see that as a problem or?
Well, I don't think that was most of Gotham that was surrounding the squad car. I think
That's
most
true.
of that.
Okay.
I
That
think
was
But
most
like
of
like he
Gotham.
was a whole political movement in this.
Yeah, but I think that it's gonna. I think what's gonna end up happening if we were to follow this into a sequel is that would quickly dissipate, and he would have only a like small core group of followers. And I think that is something that we've seen in the comic books, where he has always had like a loyal following. He
That's
doesn't care
true.
for them. He doesn't care for them, right?
No,
I
he
mean,
doesn't.
but I mean, he's willing to take advantage of them. So I think that's ultimately what's going to end up happening. He's still going to be feared throughout Gotham, but he's going to have like just a few folks who are willing to do whatever they want for him.
Cool.
Yep.
Did you, go ahead.
I was gonna say, yeah, I like that. He did have a following. So what I see then, if we're going off of that, then there has to be just one more because it feels like he has more of a following in this one. But to make that group even smaller, he has to have like one crazy thing happen where he does like a mass killing, and then everyone's like, "Oh, maybe I'm getting off this Joker train here."
Which is why I think, and I've said this before to Peter, I think off of the podcast, which is, in my opinion, this could be a perfect prequel to The Dark Knight.
Oh man,
Like it just fits in nicely.
yeah, I like to see Heath and Joaquin come together. Also, it would make a good prequel to, if they ever want to do it, to the Robert Pattinson Batman. Since that one's going to be a year one Batman, if they ever wanted to connect it, which who knows, that's sort of up in the air. It's kind of up in the air as to like the same as like Spider-Man and Venom. If they ever wanted to connect it, I think that's the way in, because since that's going to be sort of a prequel Batman movie as well.
That's actually a really good idea. That's the way they could do it. Yeah. So I guess one thing I wanted to ask you guys is the big question. Would you guys think that it's hard to compare, I know, because this is a completely different movie, but would you guys think and entertain Joaquin Phoenix's Joker within the same aura of Heath Ledger's Joker? Like, would you say he did as good of a job with the material as Heath did with his material?
Yes,
Yeah.
I do.
I definitely agree.
Yeah, I agree. I 100% agree.
I just, like Edgar was saying, I knew Joaquin Phoenix's work. I loved him in Walk the Line, and I just knew he was going to kill it. Like when I first heard Scorsese and Joaquin Phoenix was attached to the movie when it was starting out, I was already sold then.
Nice.
You guys want to know a fun fact that I read not too long, maybe a couple of days ago? Apparently, Jason, I don't know if it's true, but I read it in one of Jason Todd's interview. Apparently, when he was actually looking for somebody to play the Joker, he already had a picture of Joaquin Phoenix while he actually was trying to read the script. I write the script with the writers before the part got offered to him. So he already
So
had him
you
yeah,
wrote it
he
with
already
him in mind.
in mind. So for me, it was like kind of makes sense because it kind of fits him perfectly, but at the same time, it was still a gamble because you didn't know how he's gonna play it. But again, they trust the guy and they trust the director and the writer. So at this point, they did a great job. But I got a question for both of you: would you guys like a sequel, or would you like just leave it like this? Because if we leave it like this, we leave it a really high note, and that's all good. But would you guys like a sequel to it?
I I would like. I think I would like to leave it like this. And if they ever do use them again, like I'm not even sure if I want them to use him. I'd rather him be sort of like an Easter egg, like at the end of Batman Begins when Gordon gives him the Joker card. I'd
Mhm.
rather him leave it like that. Like it's connected, but you were never gonna see them together because I don't know. I don't know about Robert Pattinson. I don't know how he pull off that Batman. I guess we just gotta wait and see.
Yeah.
Um, I would like a sequel. I
Okay.
I think we shouldn't. Well, for me, I don't want to be afraid to.
Connect.
Na-
But it's
and,
DC.
well, I know they're not the most trustworthy filmmakers, but they can pull it off. I mean, I love Shazam. I love this movie.
True.
Wonder Woman was great.
Yeah, Aquaman. Aquaman's good.
Aquaman was good. So I don't want a big blockbuster movie with Joaquin Phoenix Joker, but it would be cool to have like um, maybe another small movie where we kind of maybe it would take just two. Like the next movie would be a little bit more about his development and his growth as the actual Joker, and then maybe at the last second we see the Batman, and then that's it. And then the third movie could be with Robert Pattinson.
I like that. I like that a lot going off of that. So Joker gets his own sequel. Robert Pattinson gets his own Batman movie. We're just kind of testing the water, seeing how they're doing. And then when they do decide that third movie, I think that third movie includes a young Jason Todd as Robin, and then you do that storyline.
Oh my God, that's impressive. That would be amazing.
That would be good, and people can vote on it if he dies again.
Yep.
That would be great. That would be great.
That would be sick.
That would be the only way I see it happening. And then like that's still like everything's so fragmented with DC right now. Like we don't know if Robert Pattinson is gonna be the Batman for ever for future coming up.
Yeah.
So we don't know. But if that's the beginnings of something, that's a good foundation.
Right.
Damn, nice. Any I was trying to think. I had last thoughts, but they kind of escape me now. Any last thoughts for you guys on Joker?
I just really enjoyed the movie, and I don't know. I think it's pretty close to perfect of a Joker origin movie as you can imagine.
Damn. Yes. It makes you root for the Joker, which is ridiculous.
Well, you know what? We didn't even touch upon like the larger commentary on society, and I don't want to get too meta, but I think there is a lot in there about where we are headed and how we treat our most vulnerable members in society. And I think like this whole, by the way, like we touched upon it earlier in the conversation about how like people were kind of afraid, and I guess it was mainly like uptight moms who were like afraid about the violence in the movie. We've had so many violent movies over the years, and none of them have had as much backlash over this.
I
don't
mean,
know.
there's that, but there's the whole Dark Knight situation in that movie theater, or Dark Knight Rises, I should say.
Yeah, but I mean,
I think they were worried more about that rather than the movie itself promoting violence.
I just don't agree. I think that if we are afraid because of one madman killing people, and now we have another movie that has the same characters, I think we're losing. I think that we shouldn't be afraid.
No.
And I think that it's art. I don't care what anybody says, but this movie is art. And I think what we need to really take away from it is maybe not the violent acts. It's not promoting it, in my opinion. What it's doing is it's telling us, hey, if you screw over the mentally ill, then there's consequences. And that doesn't make it correct. I'm not advocating for that. I'm just saying that, like, let's really think about what we value. Do we value money, or do we value caring about people?
Right. I think the social commentary of the movie is like right on the money. A lot of people, as Tony was saying, are afraid of it just because like we don't want it to be promoting this sort of thing. But also, I think it's kind of right on the money of deciding when to come out. Like that's kind of sort of what the populace is thinking right now about, like, oh, there's this disconnect between the higher and the lower class people, and this really just puts it on a spotlight.
For sure.
Yep.
Yeah.
Alrighty.
Any last thoughts, Edgar?
Go and see the movie. Don't be afraid. Just
don't be afraid.
Just be alert. That's it. Go enjoy the movie.
Don't laugh too much during the killings while the undercover cop is sitting next to you.
Yeah, just don't react too happy when they start killing. Otherwise, the cop might look at you funny. But besides that, just go in there, have fun.
I agree. That's damn good advice. Before we go away, I do have some house cleaning. So for Dead by Daylight, I said it was more of a Game of Year edition. I came out with all the DLC on Switch. It apparently doesn't, but all the DLC is there to buy on the Nintendo eShop. However, it's missed the Leatherface DLC as well as the Nightmare on Elm Street DLC, just because the licenses, I guess, sort of run out on those kinds of things for the characters. So you can still have them on like the Xbox and PS4 and Steam when they got released, but they cannot re-release that DLC on a new platform to buy it, which is ridiculous.
That's weird.
That's weird. That's really weird.
I also have a really quick Virgin Ears that I'll invite Edgar to, because it's something we can digest for a little while and on our own spare time. Is House of X, the new X-Men comic that's out there in the Marvelverse, is a completely sort of reset of the universe, as well as showing X-Men in a totally new and different light that is just fucking ridiculous. I think we should digest it by ourselves and then maybe reconvene, because even as an X-Men fan, I'm not even sure what the fuck is going on.
I don't know how many times they got to reboot the X-Men to make it have sense. They get through so many reboots, because before this, when I was trying to pick it up, the comics, and then it got like rebooted again with the House of X, and I haven't picked up any of the comic books, but I read about it, and it looks interesting. But if you don't know what the fuck is going on, wait, man, neither do I.
I think they intentionally did that, or they intentionally made it really confusing. Like, this is a comic you have to like chart out and shit. It's ridiculous. But X-Men's kind of like that, where it's sort of fragmented, like it's all connected, but it's not really, and it's just kind of crazy what these writers and artists can do with the series. So I wanted to get back into reading X-Men, so I was trying to get in through House of X. But damn, yeah, I'm gonna need your guys' help at one point.
All right, for sure.
All right, cool. That's it from Geeking This, from Peter, Tony, and Edgar. Go see Joker movie right now. Go see it. All right.